Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel of the Ultimate Success Coaches, the channel that is for motivation and inspiration. Today I have a guest that I know will be inspiring for you. He has been an entrepreneur since very young age. He knows what success is by just thinking it and not reading about it. Very inspirational. He has family roots in Italy, but he lived actually most of his life in the most beautiful country of Latin America. At least that's what I believe. In Brazil, in the beautiful city of Rio de Janeiro. He is a civil engineer from profession, but over the years he did many projects globally in big companies, met a lot of very interesting executives. Later on, he also supported a lot of startups globally. At the moment, he lives in Holland, in Amsterdam, where he helps startups in the Netherlands to get successful. And today he is here, my guest. Hi, Marcelo. Thank you very much to be here. And I forgot to mention his name. His name is Marcelo Resmini. Hi, Marcelo.
Hi, Arthur. Hello, Arthur.
Welcome in my podcast. Thank you for making time today.
No, thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here and share a bit of my experience with you and your audience.
Good, good. Marcelo, I introduced you a little bit already, but is there something you want to tell to the audience so they get to know you a little bit better?
Absolutely, Arthur. As you said, I'm an entrepreneur now, but actually, I started my career as a project manager, and I loved working on all sorts of projects with complex challenges, leading teams on projects around the world. It was fantastic. For me, it was a really rewarding experience. I consider myself successful and fulfilled, and at some point, I realized that I could use my project management skills in entrepreneurship. In the end, if you see, right, managing projects and starting up a business require similar skills. We have a goal, scope of work, risks, budget, people, stakeholders, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that you can use your skills beyond your current area of work. When you love doing something, you develop skills that make you good at what you do. And you can transfer these skills to other professions, industries, anywhere, really. These same skills that made me successful as a project manager are allowing me to do incredible things as an entrepreneur in Holland, in the Netherlands. I also invest and mentor other startups. In my mentorship sessions, I help startups to run pilot projects, validate the business concept, find product market fit, build the go-to-market strategy, just to mention a couple of things. And here, Arthur, I'd like to take this opportunity to share a special offer for those watching this podcast, a free 30-minute virtual coffee, where we can discuss your business idea, your business model, challenges, and I can give you insights and growth hacking tips. And to get this free session, just text me on LinkedIn saying you watched this video.
Okay, Marcelo, that sounds like a great opportunity. So thank you for that. And maybe I will hold you to that. And I advise everybody to take that offer, because this guy really knows his stuff. Okay, Marcelo, you know that this podcast is about sharing motivation and inspiration for people to also become more successful. And I always do that based on a number of questions. I also have prepared a couple of questions for you, which I would like to run through now. Are you okay? Are you prepared?
Yes, let's go for it.
Let's go for it then. Good. The first question is that what was the moment that you realized that you were actually good at something, you were becoming successful? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, Arthur. Well, I guess I always had an entrepreneur in me. When I was 9, 10 years old, during a summer holiday in a small seaside town in Brazil, one day I managed to convince my cousin to go for an adventure with me. I wanted to do something different. So the idea was to collect all comic books that we had and sell them to other children in the neighborhood. I was so curious to see how other kids would behave when approached by us. I had some questions in my mind, such as, is there a market for secondhand comic books? So we went for a walk and started offering our comic books to other kids. And in less than an hour, they were sold out.
Wow.
So it was a mix of feelings, right? Because I was able to get the answers I was looking for, and for that I was very happy. But on the other hand, it all happened so fast that I wanted more. Then we convinced our grandmother to make some ice cream, and we went out for another adventure, selling ice creams. So we had a lot of fun, indeed.
Can imagine.
Yeah, and here is another example. A few years later, my passion was surf magazines. I love to see the pictures, the colors, the stories, all the adventures, right? By the way, the funniest part here, Arthur, is that I have never surfed in my life, but I loved the magazines.
Okay.
Then I realized I could start making stickers using these pictures and contact paper, handmade stickers made of contact paper. I invited my brother to be my partner. So I was in charge of the manufacturing process, and he was selling stickers at school. Huge success. We had a lot of fun and made money. So at that time, I saw that I wanted to keep doing that, creating stuff, innovating. And you might be wondering how I ended up in project management if I was already flirting with entrepreneurship in my childhood. Because something very sad happened. My father, he was an entrepreneur. And one day my life turned upside down. His company went bankrupt and we lost everything we had. So it was a complicated moment to go through as a teenager and experience what happened to my family. Then I promised myself that I would never be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
But that's so good that I did not keep that promise, Arthur.
Yes, I'm glad you didn't do that. Wow, that was quite an impactful event that you had there. But yeah, luckily you were able to get out of that. And hopefully we'll hear more about that later on.
Perfect.
But thank you for sharing this. The second question I have is, what made you realize that you were actually successful? Was it an event? Did somebody tell you? When did you feel that you were, I mean, obviously you were doing the right things, but when did you feel yourself that you were successful?
Sure. I guess you know that you are successful the moment you see that you are applying techniques, right, that are considering best practices in some books, and you are applying those techniques simply by following your intuition. So that's how I came across growth hacking. A while ago, I started reading more and more about growth hacking. I found it fascinating. And do you know what else I found? That I was already applying many of the growth hacking techniques without knowing that they were considered best practice. They were, for me, they were just very intuitive. So I decided to study more and specialize in growth hacking. And I've been learning a lot as well. But the intuition was always there. And I'm loving it. Every startup I work with is a new challenge. And while I'm mentoring these startups and sharing my expertise with growth hacking, project management, I'm also learning so much from different sectors and business models.
You keep learning, yes. That sounds good. What I like about you, Marcelo, is that you are a natural. Huh? You don't read about success. You do. Yeah, you have it in you, and you're just doing it. I think real successful people actually are like that. But I also know that you can read about it, of course, and then change your mind and your behaviors like that. But it's inspiring that you already at such a young age were able to do that. And yeah, that's why one of the reasons why I asked you for this podcast. Good. Of,
Beautiful.
of course, Marcelo, like any other person that the entrepreneur that tried to build something, you have also encountered some issues, no doubt. Yes. The next question is: did you encounter issues? And the answer is obvious, but more importantly, how did you tackle those issues? How did you overcome those issues?
Yeah, you are right, Arthur. Sure thing. We always face issues, setbacks in our lives, don't we? I personally believe that there is no such thing as fairy tales. And I can tell you a story about my last startup, Authentic Days. I
Yes.
invested 2 years of my life building that business from scratch with my partner. We ran prototypes, we tested different business models, interviewed people, got feedback from potential users, and so on. We were so ready. Our our business model was focused on small local businesses, partnering up with these businesses and giving them a proper tool to monetize downtime. But you can imagine what happened to my business with the pandemic. It was a disaster. I had employees, a product that I could sell, but there were no customers. And this pandemic started when we were enjoying our best moment. We were growing, partnering up with more and more businesses, revenue coming. It was so frustrating. And the way I tackled this problem, this setback, I believe that in moments like that, Arthur, we need to put our emotions aside and act fast and do what needs to be done. And that's what I did. So I just made sure that our customers, partners, employees, and investors, they were all on the same page and knew that was going on at that moment. Because you never know. I might resume the business idea again one day.
Yes. Yes. When the pandemic is over and then we go back to normal, who knows what then is possible, huh?
Who
Yes.
knows, Arjun?
Who knows? But what you did, you took care of the people that you work with, minimize the impact, the negative impact, and then yeah, consciously without a lot of emotions, you made the decisions. Yes, and I think that yeah. You want to say something more?
Now, businesses, they are people, so you need to take care of them, right? So it doesn't matter if you're talking about employees, customers, stakeholders, investors. So we're talking about people, so it's important to take care of that.
Okay, thank you, Marcelo, for sharing all this knowledge and experience. It's very inspiring. What I always want to know is how success feels like. Yes. So when you achieved your success, can you share with your audience what you felt, how you experienced that? Be as detailed as you can.
Okay, okay, that's a very good question, Arthur. Because for me, this goal for me was to wake up the entrepreneur I had in me. I remember this special moment very well. After we moved to the Netherlands, my wife and I, we went on a road trip. It was really nice because we had some time. We spent time together. We had enough time to talk about our experiences, frustrations, expectations. We are driving, talking, and sharing. I had so many ideas, so much energy. I was so enthusiastic about looking for a new challenge that I started visualizing some of these ideas happening. So we are just talking about potential business ideas, sorry, and I was already visualizing these ideas happening. So that was the moment I knew I had it back in me. I'll be an entrepreneur in the Netherlands, I said. So Arthur, it was a fantastic moment to experience. I felt that energy flowing through my body, and this energy made me be sure that that was the right thing to do. I felt motivated. So it all made me realize that the entrepreneurial role was calling me. And I'm very happy that my wife was the one helping me with this brainstorm process, because she has been supporting me and being there during every single step of the journey as my business partner in some of these endeavors as well.
Good, good. This is very, very good. I could almost feel what you felt there in that road trip, Marcelo. Thank you. Very well done. And you also mentioned visualization. Also in my book, I write about that. Successful people, especially sports people, they visualize themselves already doing things, getting over the finish line in a certain time, or doing the things that they want to do. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That only confirms that visualization actually is something that can be very helpful with you. Wow, thank you, Marcelo. Thank you. In closing, everything comes to an end. Also, this podcast, unfortunately, I would like to ask you one more thing, if I may. And I ask every guest that I have in my podcast. Is there something that you have as a life motto, or is there something that you want to give to the people as a one-liner that can help them to say, okay, yeah, I have, let's say, be strong, be resilient. Other people have other things. Do you have something that you want to share with the audience?
Yes. I believe that during our conversation, we spoke about developing skills, transferring skills, and having passion. That's very important, Arthur.
Yes.
Passion and intuition. This makes the difference. So let's say that if I had a particular motto, I can say that if I believe in something, I threw myself 100%. And trust me, I can be very, very intense when implementing something I believe in. So
Yeah, I know.
my motto, if you believe in something, go for it 100%, 200%, and do that for every little thing in your life.
Amen to that, Marcelo. I know that you're very intense and very focused on what you're doing. So yeah, I can only understand what you say here. And I believe that indeed you must be able to, you must visualize the things, you must know what you want. But if you don't make the miles, if you don't make the effort, if you don't pay the price, then you're not getting anywhere. So I really support what you I understand. Sorry, I so understand what you say there. Wow. Go for it, 100 or maybe even 200%. Yeah, I can live with that. Thank you.
Always.
Okay, so that concludes, unfortunately, the podcast already. Time flies. It was really like 5 minutes, Marcelo, like we always have when we meet. It always flies very fast. But I wanted to share the energy that we experience when we were talking about new things. I want to share that with my audience, and I'm very happy that you made time for that to do that here today. So that concludes the podcast of today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Marcelo, for making time. I know that you're a busy guy, but I'm really happy that you could spend time with us and share us some of your experiences. And I hope to see you in the next podcast. Bye.